Hello, I'm Sister Susan Berger of Annunciation Monastery, Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm one of the sisters who live here on these Dakota prairies. Our monastery is located overlooking the Missouri River. I'd like to take you on a journey that will give you a glimpse of our history and of how the torch of faith, courage, and mission was passed on throughout the years by remarkable, faith-filled women leaders. There's a letter from a young boy that goes like this. Dear God, we learned today in school that Thomas Edison invented light. But in Sunday school, they said you created it. I'll bet Edison got the idea from you, didn't he? All good ideas begin with God, and all deeds of vision and courage begin with God. And all days of Benedictine life begin with God. The morning light is barely peeking out from beneath the broad horizon of the North Dakota plains as the Benedictine sisters gather for prayer. And they have gathered for prayer every morning for 125 years. They have gathered together every evening for 125 years. And what happened in between was remarkable, because it was an idea first thought of by God. It's a legacy that is ours as Sisters of Annunciation Monastery, and yours. Imagine with me for a moment an 1878 Bismarck that was part of Dakota Territory. Imagine Bismarck as a primitive prairie town with a population of 2,500, the end of the railroad for a while, and the center for diverse adventurers, riverboat men, cowboys and Indians, and soldiers. One history book notes, at one end of the social ladder were Three-Fingered Dick, Muddy Jim, Liver-Eating Johnson. At the other, a Marquis de Morris and a Teddy Roosevelt. Imagine into this outpost of the American West the arrival of a few Benedictine sisters from Minnesota. Imagine the courage, vision, and faith that it took for these women. It was an idea that could only have been thought of first by God. But these women of the 1870s had a long tradition upon which to draw. You see, we Benedictines trace our history back to the year 480 and southern Italy. At that time, hordes of barbarians were overrunning Europe, threatening even Rome, the heart of the ancient empire. But in the little village of Nursia, Italy, there lived twins, Benedict and Scholastica. Their teachings became the beginning of modern Benedictine life, a way of life involving prayer, living in community, and service. Benedict and Scholastica, rays of light in a world of violence and darkness. Our Benedictine history moves along another 5 centuries, men and women faithfully defining themselves as seekers of God, leaders of culture, and missioners into the unknown. In 1035, Benedictine sisters established a convent in Eichstätt, Germany, called St. Walburga. During the following 800 years, St. Walburga's convent experienced unbelievable hardship, as did all people throughout Europe. Plagues, wars, revolution. In 1835, the sisters were asked to teach in the city schools for girls. They began a ministry of education. One of these women was Benedicta Reep, a leader, wise, bright, courageous, with a heart ready for challenge and adventure. In 1852, young Benedicta Reep and 2 other sisters traveled to the frontier territory of the New World and created a foundation in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. She is shown here on this icon with St. Walburga's Monastery in Eichstätt in her right hand and the first community convent in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. And from their small foundation, there are now 46 Benedictine women's communities in our United States. Just 5 years after Benedicta arrived in Pennsylvania, she looked farther west, as far as St. Joseph, Minnesota. The sisters came to St. Cloud to teach. Benedicta established what is now known as St. Benedict's Monastery, and it was there that she lived the last 4 years of her life. She died young, at the age of 37, having traveled from Germany to Pennsylvania to Minnesota, having spent her life for her dream. As we read about these early women who came to America to teach, a pattern of their experiences emerges no matter where they settled. The sisters would enthusiastically undertake the mission and embark on an often dangerous journey. Frequently, when they arrived in their new place, no one met them, they had no money, didn't know English, had little or no food, and lived in extremely poor housing. But they would soon begin to teach the children, sometimes the day after they arrived. And so it was that in 1878, a handful of Benedictine sisters came to Bismarck, Dakota Territory, from Minnesota. The day after they arrived, they opened St. Mary's Academy and boarding school. Prior to their coming, the Bismarck Tribune had carried articles that reported on the school's opening, its curriculum, and the fact that all children would be accepted as students. And this little, among all the other activities that were happening in Bismarck that day, 5 sisters arrived here Tuesday morning to take charge of the new Catholic school. And that announcement was made on March 21st in 1878, and March 21st today is the Feast of St. Benedict. So on March 21st, 1878, the Tribune announced their arrival. On March 22nd, they held their first day of class, 21 boarders and 80 day students. Like every outpost in the American West, Bismarck was mostly a town of men, and any kind of medical care was hard to come by. Abbot Alexius of St. John's saw the value of a hospital in Bismarck. He bought the new Lambourne Hotel on 6th and Main and called on the Benedictine sisters to staff it. So in 1885, 7 sisters came to start the only hospital between St. Paul and Seattle. They were untrained in any form of medical care, but they began St. Alexius Hospital. They were the first Benedictine women in the United States to serve in healthcare. The sisters treated 65 patients in 1885, contracting with the county to care for the sick at $1 a day. Just 40 years later, St. Alexius graduated its first class of nurses. After establishing St. Mary's School and St. Alexius Hospital in Bismarck, the Benedictines continued to minister throughout western North Dakota. Bishop Vincent Ryan of the Bismarck Diocese strongly believed that a center of Benedictines should be founded to assure that education and healthcare would continue. The Bismarck group, now known as Annunciation Monastery, gained permission to found an independent community in 1947. They moved into a temporary residence at 304 Avenue A West while they searched for land on which to build. When the site was chosen, the sisters dared ask a world-renowned New York architect, Marcel Breuer, if he would design a monastery that would exemplify their values of simplicity, strength, and beauty. When Marcel Breuer first walked the expansive hills south of Bismarck, he stopped, gazed around, and said, "Even the land here is friendly." And thus, he began an architectural masterpiece that he decreed his jewel on the prairie. The pioneer light of Benedicta Reap and the thousands of other Benedictine women who walked before them ignited the vision of these Bismarck Benedictines. They taught in elementary schools in Dickinson, Mandan, Bismarck, Mott, and Flasher. They founded hospitals in Bowman, Richardson, Beulah, Riverdale, and Garrison. They traveled to rural parishes during the summer to teach religion to the children. In 1959, these same women saw vision for a college, Merritt College. We in the city of Bismarck know well its phenomenal growth, from 69 students in 1959 to 2,500 students in 2003. Today, the University of Mary is becoming known as a thriving center of learning and an evolving center for the formation of student leaders. It is known as America's Leadership University. From its beginning in the old Lambourne Hotel, St. Alexius Medical Center has grown from an annual patient count of 65 in 1885 to well over 10,000 in 2002. We came to Bismarck 125 years ago. We planted ourselves firmly here in Bismarck as an autonomous community in 1947. We built with prairie stone and concrete, visible symbols of our faithful presence and service, our love of the Benedictine way of life, and our love for the people of this area. We embody flexibility, hard work, and willingness to dream large. We are committed to prayer, education and study, hospitality, and the development of the whole person. We value the close bonds of friendship and collaboration long shared with you, and our continued collaboration with you is so central that it is even embodied in our community mission statement. Because of those early courageous women leaders, the city of Bismarck now has Annunciation Monastery, University of Mary, and St. Alexius Medical Center. The groundwork was laid 125 years ago, and the mission is continuing. Benedictine sisters continue to seek and respond to the needs of the day. In the year 2000, to meet the changing needs of our community, we built a new monastery just south of our former home. We identified the need for a place that would help meet the spiritual hungers of the people of the area, a place of hospitality. And so we included in our plans a hospitality center that hosts spirituality programs, meetings, private retreats, spiritual direction, and a gift shop. As always, the chapel remains the center of our home and our life. People often remark that the bells calling us to prayer are heard over the valley. The bell banner stands tall and sturdy on the hillside. It is a reminder of all, for all, of the centrality of prayer in whatever endeavors we undertake. The 80 Benedictine Sisters of Annunciation Monastery continue to have a vital role in our sponsored ministries, diocesan ministries, and other areas of leadership. These women on this slide have all served as prioresses of Annunciation Monastery. Our outreach ministries over the past 5 years have taken sisters to the Marshall Islands and Africa. Regionally, we are involved with the Bismarck Emergency Food Pantry, Habitat for Humanity, crocheting sweaters for the poor, making rosaries for Kenya, and collecting school supplies for the children in Afghanistan. Daily, we hold the needs of the people of this area and the world in prayer, welcoming prayer requests from our website, from letters, from telephone calls, and from personal requests. Our new members come with the same desire to seek God and to respond in deeds of vision and courage that brought the first sisters here 125 years ago. Our celebration of 125 years in Bismarck offers us the opportunity to say again, Friends of the Bismarck area, the state of North Dakota, we are here for you. We are grateful for the many ways you have been here for us and with us for the people. So what about the next 125 years? So much is unclear for all of us. But this we know for sure, there will be new needs arising, and there will be new pioneering Benedictines responding, and God's good ideas will continue to dawn. Now that you have an idea about where we sisters from Annunciation Monastery have come from and where we are today, I hope you have an opportunity to visit us. We'd love to share more about our Benedictine life and our values with you. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.